In my experience, when Mr. Reynolds gives an order, it's wise to follow it to the letter. Grant, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well this morning, Burn. How about yourself?
Good, very good, thank you. Yes, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Longtime fan. Also love this film. I just love the sort of simmering tension that is burning throughout this entire piece. And your character is just one of the fun, wild bits to watch throughout. I'd love to hear first and foremost what it was about this film that gripped you. Was it your character? Was it the script as a whole? What really hooked you in?
Yeah, well, thanks, Grant. I mean, first of all, it was the fact that it was filmed in London that initially piqued my interest. And as you know, here we have, luckily, a lovely bunch of actors, character actors, and all sorts that that I've always longed to work with. And so Eddie Marzan and Sam Claflin are two actors who I've always admired from afar. And when you get a chance to work with people like that, you sort of feel like you're assembling a kind of Avengers. It's a really good team to be part of. So that was the initial attraction. Then, of course, there's the really tight script and interesting subject matter, and then the director Barnaby Roper, who is personally, he's a photographer and has shot lots of videos and commercials and all sorts in the past, and he's got an extremely interesting eye. So with those things all put together, that was what piqued my interest at first, and I'm really glad to be part of it.
And it really all just came together to make such a great little thriller. And now you talk about this ensemble, by the way, but your character is an interesting one in that he spends the majority of the film away from them, locked in his room. And I'm curious for you as an actor, do you find that almost to be a little liberating to get to own that much space, or do you find that almost there's a little bit of FOMO of missing out with the rest of the group as they get more opportunities to play off one another?
Yeah, the wonderful thing was, Grant, was that the production team put together the interiors of this house we're all stuck in the studio, in West London. So actually, I was present a lot of the time, just with the other actors and with Barnaby and watching the production team put this thing together. It was almost a little bit like the old studio system. We each had our sort of dressing rooms in a row, and we all ate together. And it was really like going back to one of those old Ealing comedies or something. Um, so no, I was there a lot of the time, and I'm also pretty nosy about productions when they're going on. So I was just there drinking it all in, appreciating the fine acting and the story that was going on. So yeah, I was lucky in that way.
Well, I love that you took that opportunity because I mean,
Yeah.
I can only imagine getting to see some of these guys play, act in these scenes together when you're locked up in the other room.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Now, again, your character is fascinating too, in that there does seem to be a bit of tragedy under the surface, and that's sort of driving this drug binge throughout the piece. How much did you and Barnaby really talk about what Numbers' past is and how he got here?
Well, me and Barnaby sort of talked about secrets quite a lot. I've always found coming into a particularly like a morally grey character that they're actually the most interesting characters, because like all humans, they've got secrets and things they want to keep to themselves. We didn't in detail discuss the drug use. We knew that he had a problem and we knew that he was injecting. But Barnaby kind of left that up to me. What he suggested was that there would be an almost balletic nature to Numbers' sort of, shall we say, when he's in the reverie of his drug experience or whatever. But we didn't really focus on that much. It was much more about getting the movement of the character, getting the sort of idiosyncrasies of this, morally compromised and quite dark subject matter and man. So the two kind of came together, but we didn't go into detail. I sort of did my own research and stuff like that, but you sort of leave that at the door when you arrive for work.
Well, I think that's a great approach, especially focusing on the physicality of the character, given that that is so much of what his personality is in this film. And I love that balletic came to mind. And so that then makes me think about the music as well in the film, given that he's got this wonderful sound system that he is just blaring at all times. How much of the music was actually present for you when you were doing those scenes?
Yes, I mean we tried a number of things. One of the things which helped me was to give this man a sort of classic education and appreciation of, say Rachmaninoff and Chopin and whatever. So when we were shooting, I think most of the music that we used was much more of a classical nature. Because obviously, also with the film, you never know kind of what the tone's going to be and what rights are going to be available.
Mhm.
But then I also like to use music in my work myself. So I sort of make up a little playlist. I'm a music nut. So I sort of make up a playlist for the character. And, it was much more about somebody who's had a classic sort of um, you know, archaic English education, so we say, with all the things that go along with that. And sort of saw him as somebody who really appreciated the high art of classical music and of every type of music actually. And yeah, it was a sort of interesting dynamic that he also brings his essentially sound system with him wherever he goes. But that also speaks to something for me about his addictions and was just another layer, a complex layer of the character. I didn't want to judge him, but he is a morally corrupt thief. At the end of the day, that's what this story. It is a thriller, but it's also about punishment, retribution, crime. What are the sins of our errors, etc., etc. It's very interesting for me.
Yeah, there's so many great layers to all the characters that I just love seeing unfold, especially when we get to the end and the big reveal that I won't touch upon. I want people
Sure,
to
sure,
not
yeah,
get spoiled. I see I've got enough time for one more question. So before I let you go, I'm also very excited for Alejandro Iñárritu's next film that you're a part of. And I'm curious, I'm sure you're not allowed to say too much, but I'd love to hear sort of about the scope and scale of that film, given he can go just as intimate with a film as he can big and grandiose.
yes, Grant. I can't say anything about the film, but I can say that working with such a cast, led by Tom Cruise, was one of the experiences of my lifetime. We were at Pinewood again, shot in the UK. Unfortunately, I can't tell you anymore, but it really was one of specifically a career high for me working with those artists. So thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I get it. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah,
So
no,
I will
not at
leave it
all.
there. And
Thank you, bud.
in the meantime, I really look forward to getting the word out about this film. I mean, I've spoken with Eddie. I'm speaking with Sam later today, and I just
Yeah.
want to hear it all and spread the word. So thank you for taking the
Thanks,
time. It's been
Grant. I'm
great.
glad you enjoyed it. I really do. Good luck.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, sir. You too.